Okay, so I need to talk to
explain it.
Now I need to talk to Mrs. Nash.
Go for it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, if anybody who just turning in, we're talking about the transgender bathroom bill. I did have other people that were supposed to come on, but they got lost, I'll just say. They got lost in somewhere. They're probably with Rod Serling in Twilight Zone. But they're not here. And you know, the show must go on. So, Mrs. Nash.
Yes.
What's your opinion? On the transgender bathroom issue and divide it, because it has to be, you know, it can't be, even though it's one smush bill, right? But it needs to you know, that, yeah.
Well, you were talking about the elementary kids.
Yeah.
Nowadays, elementary kids are very smart, and they know exactly what they talk about. You can have fourth graders their mentality is just amazing, because I've met younger kids that's smart. I'm like, wow, like, you know, they know a lot of things. Myself, I agree with the bill, because being transgender.
Do you agree with the way it's written or the way it should have been written? Because it's not passing the way it was written by people who submitted it. It's divided.
Would you?
Yeah. Okay. It's written as it's for public bathrooms.
Right, but you're talking about
it was written, but it was supposed to be written for all. But some legislator decided to rewrite it, and it just says public. So they took a bill that was supposed to be all inclusive, and Texas took it and went down. Yeah. So it's not going to. If it passes, it won't pass the way it was originally written to pass.
So it just be in schools or it's public everywhere.
Public, not everywhere, but because public. No, go ahead. No, it won't be.
It's written. They changed it so that if there's any governmental office, any office that receives governmental funds, so that does include schools. But let's say you're a Subway. The state is not going to twist your arm and say you have to ask people to pull out their driver's license or whatever before they can go in a bathroom. But any governmental office
or receive government
can regulate who can go into what bathroom, according to this bill.
Right. So, like I said, it was written one way. And that's one thing, before you answer, we need to pay attention to. You can submit a bill that says anything. You can submit it to say whatever you wanted to say. And you got a legislator that's going to take your bill. But he's going to get and go, no, let me tweak it. And he will tweak it. And his staff and everybody, it'll get tweaked. And then it goes to the floor and it's not yours. It's changed. It got tweaked. Do they have a right to do that? Unfortunately, yes. Whose fault is that? Ours. We put them in.
Yes.
And we didn't hold them accountable. So the way it's written is not the way it was submitted.
Okay, well, since you said like that, then no.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, yes, I do agree with the bill, though. But
why?
Because I mean, when you think about,
whoa.
When you think about it, I mean, as far as the children in high school and things like that, they're already getting bullied. Right. And to be in transgender or gay and going into their own bathrooms, who knows how the bullying is going there? And then, you know, you have kids getting beat up for being who they are.
Yeah.
So coming into a transgender, coming into a bathroom with my daughter, personally, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Because I sit at home, my daughter knows what's going on, you know. And as far as,
but you know, studs, I got a problem.
See, I mean, but as far as studs going into the bathroom with the guys, you know, more than likely a stud like my wife, you couldn't even tell if she was a woman or a man. I mean, you know, she's a man, like looking at her. So the boys in the stall wouldn't even have a problem with it. Versus a transgender going into the bathroom in a stall with boys, they're gonna try to jump on them, you know, because they feel that's all they know. Especially if they're not getting taught at home on, you know, being a substance to whoever this person decides to be. So,
and the adults.
The adults
to the adults.
Well, they're grown.
Right.
It's not really no issue there because I feel as we all can fend for ourselves. So you go in the bathroom, you try to jump me because then we will have a problem. But I'm sorry, but yes, we're grown. We don't have a problem as the kids do at the schools.
All right. Okay. Now we have a young person, like I said, and if you all know me, I never mention young people's names because I don't think you need to know who they are. And unless they say their own names, I'm fine, but I'm not going to. But we have a young person, and she got this look on her face like, oh my gosh, okay, what I want to say. And she's going to speak her mind. So I don't want you to speak the mind of anyone else but you. Sometimes our children are coerced to speak the mind of their parents, and it's not theirs. And I'm a firm believer in children should have their own thoughts and beliefs. Parents should not say you're wrong or you're right. Parent might weigh in and say, listen, this is how you feel, but this is how I feel. That's fair. Absolutely. But I don't think, you should open a child's mouth, shove down your thoughts, and they have to deal with it. Because if that happens, you have a kid that's going the wrong direction real fast because they're being rebellious and cause other problems. Absolutely. But good morning, young lady. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, now what grade are you in?
8th.
Woo, she's in middle school. She's in the tweens kids, those kids that half grown and half not grown. They gossip what they think they know about and they really don't. So in school, how would you feel if you and your girlfriends all, whatever, y'all in the bathroom doing whatever 8th graders do in the bathroom, and all of a sudden here comes someone who is transgender that you know this person is a boy. You actually know that, and all of you all there know that that's a boy, but he comes in and he's dressed in female clothes. How would you feel him walking in there?
I wouldn't feel comfortable because what if boys pretend to be gay?
Okay.
The teachers expect us not to touch on each other in any ways. What if something happened in a bathroom?
You mean who would be responsible? That's true. That's a very good point. I like that. So you'd feel uncomfortable?
Yes.
Would you leave? Yes. Or would you ask them to leave?
I will leave.
Okay. And that's fair. How about your circle of friends? Do they feel kind of the same way? Or have you all talked about it?
I didn't even know this was a topic.
So according to you, this just what we're talking about never really existed until today.
Yes.
Till today, the topic itself. For you, it didn't exist till right now today.
Yes.
So let me explain to you. It is the topic of today. It should be a topic of today because it's a bill. And you know what a bill is, right?
Yes.
You know what a law is, correct?
Yes.
Well, first something becomes a bill and it's written. And you submit it to a legislator. Let's just say it locally, a legislator. A legislator can take your bill, look at it and go, I like some of what she said, but I think it would pass if it says this. So they tweak it, turn it around, and then they get a vote. It has to be voted on twice, and then it becomes a law. So right now it's still a bill because it's only been voted on one time. So if and when it becomes passed again, it will be a Texas law. It won't be in effect until September because that's how they do things. So if this becomes a law, what do you think? If it becomes a law and now this kid can actually come into the bathroom.
If it's a law, they can't.
If it's a law, they can't come. That's right. If it passes the way it is, they can't come in there. But let's say you and your once again little buddies. You all in a store, and somebody walks in that you know yourself is a male, but he's dressed as a female. Would you still be uncomfortable either way? School, store, restaurant, you still be uncomfortable?
No.
Oh, just in school?
In the bathrooms.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, so guess what? Then you're going to have to, I know you're going to say I'm not old enough, but actually you are. You're going to have to study and see where this bill goes. Because this bill affects everybody. This isn't a big person's bill. Because some bills only affect adults. This bill is an everybody bill. You know what I mean? It's a everybody bill. It affects everybody. It's not one of those, oh, that's just for old people. That's just for people 18 and up. Because some bills only affect us, and don't affect you. This one does, and this one will. So there, in fact, this bill, and there's another bill, which is not the same, but they affect school-age kids, will affect you. That's up for vote. One doesn't go for vote until Tuesday. It's the voucher bill, to which I'm totally 100% against. But that bill comes up. So, there are things that come up that affect you, that affect your everyday life, how you're educated, how you won't be educated, and the transgender bathroom thing. So there are some things that are coming up that young people need to know about, and parents, you hear me? Mm-hmm. If these kids don't know about it, it's your fault. Exactly. Because they're the ones that's going to have to, and I'll say this, they're the ones who end up suffering from the lack of knowledge. And a lot of us don't see it that way, but you do. I have no kids in school, but I have a granddaughter in school. Have we talked about it? Yes. Does she have an opinion? She sure does. I'm glad she does. Our opinions aren't the same. Somewhat yes and no. But you know what? She knows. So regardless of her opinion and my opinion, she knows she knows what might pass and what might not pass. And she knows the effectiveness is on her if one passed and one not passed. So I would urge adults who are parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever you are, to start talking to the young children and explaining to them things that will affect them. Now, things that won't affect them, you don't have to talk about it yet. You can't, but things that will, talk about it. Because if I ask this young lady right now, does she know what a school voucher is? What are you going to tell me?
No.
She doesn't know. And guess what? The voucher is this. I'm explaining to you. We're going to leave the topic just for a second, just because you're young. A voucher is this. Let's say that Irene right here, Miss Irene, has a school, her own private school, okay? And her school is a private school, but they receive state money. So let's say you want to go to Irene's school, and your mother sends you to her school. That means if the school you leave spent $1,000 to educate you for a year, the school would give Irene's school the $1,000. But guess what? Irene's school was $2,500. So the school that the public school you leave gave Irene's school $1,000. No. Who got to pay the rest? Your parents. Do they know that? No. They don't know that. They got to pay the rest. Now, you get to the Irene school, which is accepting vouchers, okay? And your mother pays the other $1,500, and the school paid the $1,000. So you're paid for, correct? Right?
Yes.
Yes. But guess what? Your grades go down at Irene school. So your mother's going to do what? Take you back to
my old school.
And guess what? Irene keeps the money. Her school keeps the money. She doesn't have to give it back. So the school that you go back to has to educate you with how much money? None. At all. So is that fair?
No.
So people, so also through the voucher bill, they can segregate you. Irene's school might say, we don't want any girls. And guess what? That's all she'll have is the boys she asked for. And is it legal? It will be if the bill passes. Irene's school could say, I don't want no African American kids in my school. Now, she can get in trouble for that, but she can get a board to vote in such a way that African American kids won't be able to come.
How about if she's in a wheelchair?
That's what I said. And now, if you're special ed and if you need speech, hearing, are in a wheelchair, and I won't say confined because I don't know what the word confined to a wheelchair means. Yes, I work special ed, but that bound and confined, we don't understand that word. But if you're in a wheelchair or need any special ed services, guess what? A voucher school doesn't have to give you any services. They don't have to give you any services at all. Let's say you need speech because you stutter. You went to the Irene school, you wouldn't get help because you didn't have to. So is that a fair bill?
No.
It's not. It hurts, right?
Yes.
But you know, a lot of people want that bill to pass. So Tuesday, I'll say today, everybody who's listening needs to be writing their legislators, letting them know that you want House Bill 3 to fail. Because that's the voucher bill. Strangely enough, I know it in my head. It's bad. It's really, actually, it's good, but it's in my head. Because we need to do those things. And when we don't do things like SB 6, HB, the bills are labeled that way. When you get to know them and you understand them, you need to voice your opinion. We lose a whole lot because we assume, and you know what assume means if you break it down, we assume that someone else is going to take care of it, and they're not. We'll assume someone else is going to vote, and we can sit back and watch, and they're not. You know, we assumed that prayer would never be out of schools, but this group of people went up there and fought. We stayed home and prayed. Remember what I said? We stayed home, did nothing but pray. Other people did their prayer their way, and they took action, and they were physically there, so there was no prayer in school. You can do a moment of silence, but you have no prayer in schools.
Prime example, Trump.
She didn't say that. I didn't hear her say that. But anyway, that was Tiger. But okay, so under transgender bathroom bill, we need to watch it. Now I'm gonna ask Irene. Irene,
yes.
If this bill passes in its text, and I'm gonna say you, what would be your next move? If it passes in the text that it's in, it passes and it becomes September 1st, bam, it's in. What will be your next step? Because it's not gonna pass the way it was submitted, if it passes.
Well, I'd have to see how it passes, but in any way, shape, or form, it's unacceptable. And so I would not accept it. I would organize protests against it. I would make sure people knew exactly what was happening. I would make sure that that my local businesses and local school district understood the ramifications of this bill and begin doing workarounds. Okay? So let's say, you need to understand, it's really hard for me to continue to hear people say that who I am is a choice. It is not a choice. I believe I was born a lesbian. I grew up feeling the way I'm feeling from day one. There was no one day I woke up and decided. And if you've looked at the scientific evidence, in utero, there are times when a baby is being in conception and growth that testosterone levels are raised, and that's partly how you become a boy. And so you can form a certain set of, if I can say it on the radio, genitals, but in the brain, the testosterone level is low. And so what you think you are does not match what you're physically born as. And that's the conundrum, that's the struggle that transgender folks are in. They believe and internally are the opposite of what they show physically. And when you ask those people to be someone they're not, they're actually dressing up as a woman, but have lived their whole life as a man. Right. So see, but they're dressing up as a man, though they've lived inside as a female. So, I think that we need to get past, first of all, that this is a choice. And when you see people for who they are, and we ask people to just be who you are, embrace yourself and be who you are. We ask young people to do that every day. And when they do, look what happens. Adults intervene and create bills and laws that are destructive to them being who they are. So I would say I don't accept it. I never will accept it. And I will fight against it in every way, shape, and form that I can, because it is backwards, it is wrong, and it is destructive and even deadly to these transgender children, because suicide should never be an option for any of us.
Absolutely.
And, I was at NAACP last night, And the keynote speaker said, we are all God's children. And that is who we should see each other as. And we're not here to judge each other. We're here to love each other. And this country and this state needs to decide how they're going to treat their fellow human beings, especially their children. And I hope,
you know what?
I hope that they won't accept it either.
I broke my pen. Anyway, I'm going to say, Tiger, I need you to come back.
I knew it.
Because Irene can't answer this one.
Yeah.
Because she's not from Detroit.
Okay.
I'm picking on people who are not from Detroit.
Okay.
All right. And I'm gonna go back. We're staying on topic. We're just deviating into the topic.
Okay.
Before we leave.
All right. Come on. I know it.
I met you a couple of years ago.
Correct.
Before I met you, did it come into play with you that you had to say anything different to me, or that I would treat you any differently?
No, because we were from Detroit, and that's just how we do it. I'm sorry, it's a Detroit thing.
Explain that to people who don't understand.
Well, it was how we was raised. The North is raised different from the South. Absolutely. Detroit, we all look out for each other. We stick together. It takes a lot of us to blow our vessels, to get mad and step on our toes. So with that being said, we fall back and we bite our tongues until you let us get to our point, our boiling point, and then that's our attack mode. So with that being said, we'll be the kindest, the sweetest, the everything, the most beautifulest person in the world until you get you get us to that point, and absolutely I feel like I got one thing to say though off that subject right there.
Okay.
I was saying with Irene, I feel what she's saying. We was born this way, but I could admit to that. I mean, I could agree to that because in my book, I explain that.
Right.
But some of the females, they don't be born with that. They come from abuse,
right,
and they'll run to a female to say that, well, let me try this. They then came to the boiling point where there's no more to go with a man. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll try it. A lot of girls do that, so they was not born with that. So what do you feel about that? I just wanted to.
Well, I'll say this. It's a book I read by somebody who you know what I'm talking about. She wrote a book about her life.
Okay.
And she was abused when she grew up.
Oh, yeah.
Don't say her name.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
She was abused when she grew up, and she didn't seek out a woman to date, but she sought out comfort. Okay, women by nature, we're maternal by nature. We're the comforting ones. We do comfort and we console, but that's who we are. That's just it. I don't care what part you come from, as long as we're that's our job.
Right.
We're good at that.
Okay.
Some people, and she took the consoling the wrong direction. She assumed that being hugged by this woman and listen to her cry and the lady drying her tears, she fell in love with the lady in a confusing way. Is what I mean is she fell in love with the lady, I think, as a mother figure, but it turned into something else that she didn't quite understand.
Right.
So do you think that happens quite often?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the comfortness. It's the comfortness that another female give another female that brings out.
Takes them to another level.
Yeah, to another level.
Okay, Mrs. Nash.
Yes.
You gonna close us out? Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
She go, oops. She like, I knew it was coming. She knew it was coming. Where are you from anyway?
Detroit.
Oh, okay. Well, then you cool. Irene, I don't know about you. Sorry. Where are you from, Irene? Seattle. She's from the rainy people.
I have family in Seattle. All my family, actually.
She's from the rainy people. Although I went to Seattle because I graduated. I went to McDonald College in Seattle. We were in Fairbanks, Alaska. So I had umbrella galoshes and all those things. Anyway, my question is this. The transgender issue. When it became okay for gays and lesbians to get married. What did that mean to you? Because we graduated from never in life to yes, we can.
Right. But it was exciting. I mean, I love my wife. I
understand. Sometimes I want to give her that Detroit, thing.
But
I understand.
No,
sorry.
I was very excited.
Okay.
Because we all know, being raised, some being raised that woman supposed to be married, but in the Bible don't say who you love that you can't marry. Like,
needs to be happy.
I mean, yes, that's true, but also, who can determine who you love and who are you in love with? So to be able to form one foundation, whether it's man or woman, it's beautiful. Okay. If it's good, it's beautiful.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. All right. Okay. I want to thank everyone for listening to KISS Community Connections 103.1 KISS FM. Also, if you wake up late or whatever, you missed the show on Mondays, you can go to mykiss1031.com, go to Community Connections, and the show will always be there. You can always listen to it again, and guess you can share it with whoever needs to listen to. Like I said, I want to thank you for listening, and I want you to also, next week, I'm going to tell you, we're going to do Battle of the Sexes, except for we're going to have 3 sexes and not just 2. I know I just threw everybody in the North End win somewhere. But if y'all track my brain, you'll understand what I meant. So we're gonna have a battle, because I'm just putting it out there now. Women, we need to take control back. We gave it to the men, they screwed it up, so we need to take it back. But anyway, I want you to always remember, you cannot live a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.